Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is officially out, and it's so much fun. And it's packed with secrets and callbacks to previous Zelda games. So today, let's run through 15 Easter eggs and references to other Zelda games you can find during the game's opening hours, avoiding any spoilers for later areas or story developments. Let's start with my favourite, Link's house. Zelda quickly learns that Link grew up in Southorn Village. The people found there are all worried about his disappearance and wish he was there to help them with the rifts. His house is the northwestern one, evident from a bunch of little references to his houses in previous Zelda games. First, and most obviously, is a spare cap hanging from the bedpost, notably with a much brighter yellow band than the one he wears in this game. It's much more similar to the hat worn in games like A Link to the Past. The duvet on the bed is pulled back, which is brilliant. It implies that Link overslept like usual, and didn't have time to make his bed before rushing off to fight evil. To the left are 3 books, fittingly a green, a red, and a blue volume, the colours of the 3 golden goddesses, Faroe, Nehru, and Din. Maybe Link's been reading up on his Zelda lore. Behind the books is a framed map. It's very hard to make out in-game, but here's the texture. We can see Link's been writing on it with a little red pen. It's not a reference to any other Zelda game as far as I can see, just where Link plans out his adventures. Below the bed is a wooden owl statue, similar to the stone owl statues found in Link's Awakening's dungeons, and there's a glimpse of a spare tunic trapped in the wardrobe door. On the left are 2 bottles of green magic potion on a barrel, like in his house in A Link Between Worlds. We're not done yet though. Even Link's rug is a reference to a previous game, namely the Minish Cap, where a rug with an identical colour and pattern can be seen below his bed. He's got a spare one too, propped up by the fireplace, which is also a callback to A Link Between Worlds. Outside, there's a spare pair of boots, matching the ones he wears in this game, and a tree stump with an axe buried in it, just like in the Minish Cap. And that's all that stood out to me about this house, but I'm sure I'll have missed a reference or 2 here. Let me know in the comments if you spotted anything I didn't. After the intro sequence, Zelda meets with her father, the king, though he's quickly swallowed by a rift and replaced with an imposter, who calls for Zelda's imprisonment, locking her in the castle dungeons. This in itself is a callback to A Link to the Past, where the King of Hyrule is killed by Aghanim, an alter ego of Ganon disguised as the king's aide, who then imprisons Zelda in the dungeons. Before Zelda is imprisoned, however, we can spot a few neat details in Hyrule Castle and the nearby castle town, such as in this house, where there's a strange doll sitting on a bookshelf. This is a Pole's voice, a classic Zelda enemy seen in games like the original and Link's Awakening, with notoriously cryptic weaknesses. These enemies don't appear in Echoes of Wisdom, so at least a doll of one does. Hyrule Castle is, fittingly, adorned with the Hylian crest, the symbol of the Triforce set above a pair of wings. Skyward Sword shows the origin of these wings. They honour the Loft Wings, sacred birds once flown by the people of Skyloft, including the very first Link and Zelda. Echoes of Wisdom's Hyrule Castle seems to honour these divine avians, with these bird symbols found all throughout the castle. Speaking of interesting things on the castle walls, in the throne room we can get a tiny glimpse of pictures hanging on the walls either side of the king. These are paintings of a man and a woman, probably the king in his younger years and the queen, Zelda's mother. The king's 2 closest advisors are Minister Left and General Right, because Minister Left stands on his left and General Right on his right. While the king and his advisors discuss the problem of the rifts, they use the term stolen away to refer to those taken by the void. Wright comments on this, calling it a tidy phrase for a terrible fate. This could well be a nod to Majora's Mask, where Link becomes trapped in another world, described by the happy mask salesman as a terrible fate. And also in the castle, there's another Skyward Sword era relic gathering dust in the basement, a goddess statue. This statue depicts Hylia, the goddess entrusted with the protection of the Triforce by the Golden Goddesses, a deity who gave up her divinity and reincarnated as a mortal, as Zelda. With this in mind, it's definitely intentional that, when Zelda is given her disguise by Impa, she chooses to change behind this statue. As Zelda prepares herself for her adventure, we don't see a princess, only a goddess. East of Southern Village, Zelda can first learn the echo for a wooden sign. This isn't a particularly useful or interesting echo at all, but it does have a pretty cool detail. Zelda can read the signs she spawns, each of which displays one of several random phrases, such as, "Sometimes a good lie down in a bed is all you need to feel better. This away, that away. Warning, the sign is made out of wood which is flammable. The text is faded and hard to make out. And you could probably use this as a shield, but only once." After Zelda defeats the Echo of Link in Southern Ruins, she picks up his blade. This mysterious sword allows her to take on sword fighter form and fight, temporarily, like Link. In this moment, there's an easily missed nod back to Link's awakening. The game notes that the mysterious sword has Link's name engraved on it, just like his sword and shield in that game. Now, for the last few, I'll be stretching to just after the completion of Southern Ruins, when Zelda meets up with Lueburry after restoring the rift. First, this Sheikah scientist calls back to the Sheikah of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Not just his clothes, but the layout of his room, where we can spot a hat and a lamp that might as well have been ripped straight out of Breath of the Wild. And even his name fits with Breath of the Wild's Sheikah, with Lueburry being a not-so-subtle spin on Blueberry. This is in line with the naming convention of the Sheikah in the 3D Switch games, where they're mostly named after different fruits, like Paya from papaya or Dorian from durian fruit. If you've played Majora's Mask, you'll spot something familiar on the shelf in Lueburry's basement, a cow bobblehead figure, which were found all across Termina in that game. There are others to be found in Echoes of Wisdom too, but as we're focusing on early game here, I'll only show this one. But an even cooler reference is found just to the right of the cow, a brass-coloured eye symbol with 3 arrows embedded in it. This could well be a reference to Breath of the Wild's Kakariko Village sign, which features this very same eye symbol above it. Even the arrows are a nod to this game, as shooting the eye with an arrow will reward Link with a Korok seed. Lastly, Lueburry gives us a little bit of backstory on this game's incarnation of Link, describing how, years ago, he was one of a group of children taken by a rift. This serves not only as motivation for Link's quest to stop the rifts, and explains why he was in the Southern Ruins wielding a set of weapons specifically designed to oppose rift monsters at the beginning of the game, but also gives a canonical reason for Link's muteness. In most Zelda games, Link isn't actually mute. He does have dialogue options, but he is quiet and stoic, and we rarely hear him say anything, unless it's the cartoon.
Excuse me, princess!
But Lueburry explains that Echoes of Wisdom's incarnation of Link is actually mute. He says that those poor kids lost a lot in that ordeal. Their memories, their spirits, and they lost the ability to speak. But Link, he was different. While he did lose the ability to speak, he's the only one who recalled being stolen away. On top of that, he gained a special ability to sense when new rifts would appear. So he started using his uncanny ability to head monsters off whenever a new rift would crop up, and he'd also do what he could to prevent others from being taken into rifts. I bet he thinks if he keeps fighting, he might eventually be able to speak again. This is an incredible bit of story, just like in Breath of the Wild, where Zelda's diary notes that Link stays silent in order to bear the weight of so many eyes on him and so much responsibility. It grounds the otherwise superhuman hero by offering a relatable, in-universe reason for his lack of a voice. And that's it. 15 little secrets and Zelda references I noticed during my first few hours with Echoes of Wisdom. Like with my recent tips video, I deliberately kept this one mostly spoiler-free, but I'll definitely be covering the rest of this game in detail on the channel too. Not just secrets and Easter eggs, but story content, theories, and more. So subscribe if you haven't already for more Zelda content. Cheers guys, and I'll see you next time.